You think you're trying to manifest something. You think you're using techniques, visualizations, affirmations to attract what you desire into your life. You think you're doing everything right, following the steps you learned, maintaining positive thoughts, feeling gratitude. But what if I told you that you're not manifesting anything? What if I revealed to you that the very idea of attracting something into your life is a completely mistaken understanding of how reality actually works? What if what you call manifestation is, in reality, just you remembering a reality that already exists? Here's what nobody tells you about manifestation. You're not creating anything new. You're not pulling things from the universe into your experience. You're simply changing frequency, tuning into a different reality that has always been available, has always been present, has always been waiting for you to recognize it. Let me take you to a place where quantum physics meets conscious manifestation, where science reveals the secrets that spiritual masters have always known, where you'll discover that your consciousness is not just a passive observer of reality. It is the very mechanism through which reality manifests. Because what you're about to understand will completely revolutionize your approach to conscious creation. It will show you why some people manifest with seemingly supernatural ease, while others struggle for years with the same desires. It will reveal the secret behind instant manifestation and give you the keys to access any reality you can imagine. Think about the last time something you desired appeared in your life unexpectedly. Really think about it. How did it happen? Were you forcing it? Were you desperate? Or was there a quality of naturalness, of inevitability, as if it always should have happened? That quality of naturalness is the signature of true quantum manifestation. Because when you understand how reality really works, when you comprehend that all possibilities already exist simultaneously in the quantum field, manifesting becomes less about creating and more about choosing, less about attracting and more about tuning in. But here's where most people get completely lost. They treat the universe as if it were a cosmic order catalog. They place their orders, visualize their desires, repeat their affirmations, and then wait for something external to them to respond and deliver what they asked for. This is the greatest illusion about manifestation that has ever been perpetuated. The universe is not a separate entity from you that can choose whether or not to fulfill your requests. The universe is not out there deciding whether you deserve what you want or not. The universe is you. You are the universe experiencing itself subjectively. In quantum physics, we discovered something revolutionary. Reality doesn't exist in a fixed and predetermined way. Instead, it exists as an infinite field of possibilities, what scientists call the quantum field or quantum vacuum. All possible realities, all potential outcomes, all imaginable experiences exist simultaneously in this field as unmanifested potentials. And here's the part that changes everything. It's your consciousness, your observation, your focused attention that collapses these infinite possibilities into a specific experience. You're not asking the universe to create something for you. You're choosing, through the focus of your consciousness, which of the infinite already existing realities you're going to experience. If this is changing something fundamental in how you see manifestation, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to continue exploring these mysteries of conscious creation. Because what you're about to discover will completely transform your ability to shape your reality. Let me show you exactly how this works. Imagine you're tuning a radio. All radio stations are broadcasting simultaneously through the air around you. They don't appear when you tune into them. They were always there. Your action of turning the dial simply selects which frequency you're going to receive and experience. Quantum manifestation works exactly the same way. All possible versions of your life, the version where you have financial abundance, the version where you have the relationship of your dreams, the version where you have perfect health, the version where you live your purpose. All these versions are broadcasting simultaneously in the quantum field. Your consciousness is the radio dial, and the frequency you tune into through your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and, most importantly, your state of being, determines which of these realities you'll experience as your physical life. But here's where most people get completely confused. They think frequency is about thinking positive or repeating affirmations. They believe that if they just maintain high enough thoughts, they'll tune into the reality they desire. This is like trying to change the radio station just by wishing to hear different music, but without touching the dial. Your thoughts are important, but they're just a small part of your total frequency. Your real frequency is determined by your state of being, who you're being energetically, emotionally, vibrationally in each moment. And here's the secret nobody tells you. You cannot tune into a frequency that you are not. You cannot access a reality that doesn't correspond to your internal state of being. You cannot manifest abundance while carrying the frequency of scarcity. You cannot attract love while vibrating at the frequency of fear or lack. This isn't a punishment or limitation. It's simply how quantum physics works. Like attracts like. Similar frequencies resonate. You can only experience realities that are in vibrational harmony with who you're being. So the real question isn't, how do I manifest what I want? The real question is, who do I need to become to be a vibrational match for the reality I desire to experience? This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of trying to pull things into your current life, you focus on becoming the version of you that already lives in that reality. Instead of trying to change your external circumstances, you change your internal state of being. Instead of trying to convince the universe to give you something, you align with the frequency where that something is already your natural reality. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you want to manifest financial abundance. The traditional approach would be to visualize money, affirm that you're rich, maybe make a vision board with images of wealth, and then you'd wait for money to appear in your life. But quantum manifestation works differently. Instead of focusing on money, you focus on becoming the person who naturally has abundance. How does that person think? How do they feel? How do they make decisions? How do they relate to money? How do they move through the world? You begin to embody these qualities now, regardless of your current circumstances. You cultivate the abundance mindset, financial confidence, generosity, long-term vision. You stop acting from scarcity and start acting from abundance. And as you sustain that state of being, as you become a vibrational match for abundance, your external reality begins to reorganize itself to reflect your internal state. Opportunities appear. Insights arise. Connections form. Not because you asked for them, but because you became someone who naturally attracts them. But here's the deepest paradox of quantum manifestation. The more you want something, the more you affirm that you don't have it. The more you try to manifest, the more you reinforce the reality where that thing is absent from your life. The more you focus on what's missing, the more you tune into the frequency of lack. This explains why so many people struggle with manifestation. They're inadvertently keeping themselves in the opposite frequency to what they desire through the very act of intensely desiring. They're broadcasting, "I don't have this," while trying to attract, "I have this." Quantum manifestation requires a paradoxical state. You must want something enough to move toward it, but not so much that its absence becomes your identity. You must have clear preferences, but not desperate attachments. You must have focused intention, but also fluid detachment. This is the state that spiritual masters call desire without attachment, or intention without resistance. It's the sweet spot where you're clearly directed toward what you want, but not energetically dependent on it for your happiness or sense of worth. When you achieve this state, something magical happens. You stop pushing against reality and start flowing with it. You stop trying to force outcomes and start allowing them to emerge naturally. You stop being a cosmic beggar and become a conscious creator. To truly understand how to change your reality from the inside out, you need to comprehend that quantum manifestation operates on 3 simultaneous layers: the mental layer, the emotional layer, and the energetic layer. The mental layer is where most people focus. It's the realm of thoughts, visualizations, affirmations, and conscious intentions. This layer is important because it directs your attention and establishes your conscious intentions. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Your conscious thoughts represent only about 5% of your total mental activity. The other 95% is subconscious, automatic patterns, programmed beliefs, deep conditioning that operates below the threshold of consciousness. If that 95% is in conflict with your conscious 5%, guess which one is going to win? That's why you can affirm, "I am abundant," 1,000 times a day. But if your subconscious is programmed with "money is hard to come by," or "rich people are bad," or "I don't deserve success," your conscious affirmations are like whispers trying to shout louder than a hurricane. The emotional layer is where the true power of manifestation resides. Your emotions are energy in motion, literally, emotion. They are the fuel that energizes your thoughts and transforms them into physical experiences. More importantly, your emotions are the language that the quantum field understands. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words or even your thoughts. It responds to your emotional state, your vibrational frequency, what you're transmitting energetically. You can think abundance all day long, but if you're feeling fear, anxiety, or scarcity, it's that emotional frequency that the quantum field will reflect back to you. And here's something crucial. You cannot fake your emotions to the quantum field. You cannot think positive about something while feeling negative about it and expect positive results. The quantum field reads your authentic emotional signature, not your conscious performance. The energetic layer is the deepest and most powerful. It's your fundamental state of being, your vibrational identity, who you are at the most essential level. This layer transcends specific thoughts and emotions. It's about the quality of presence you bring to life. When you change at the energetic level, when you truly become a different person vibrationally, everything in your life changes automatically. You no longer need to work on manifestation because you've become a natural match for the experiences you desire. But how do you access and reprogram those 95% subconscious patterns that are actually driving your experience? How do you change patterns that have been established over decades of conditioning? This is where quantum manifestation becomes truly revolutionary. Instead of trying to fight against your subconscious patterns or override your limiting beliefs through willpower, you use the principles of quantum physics to create instant change at the identity level. Remember, in the quantum realm, all versions of you already exist. There's a version of you that has complete confidence. There's a version of you that lives in natural abundance. There's a version of you that feels completely deserving of love and success. There's a version of you that has already overcome all the fears and limitations you currently experience. These aren't fantasies or future aspirations. These are current quantum realities existing parallel to your present experience. And through specific quantum manifestation techniques, you can literally jump to these versions of yourself. The process works like this. Instead of trying to change who you are, you simply choose which version of you to experience. Instead of trying to reprogram your limiting beliefs, you access a version of you that never had those limitations. Instead of trying to heal your traumas, you tune into a version of you that is already complete and whole. This may sound impossible to your logical mind, but it's exactly how quantum reality works. At the quantum level, time and space are illusions. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. All possibilities coexist. and your consciousness can navigate between these possibilities through conscious choice and vibrational alignment. Let me teach you a specific technique you can use to experience this directly. It's called the quantum jump, and it's one of the most powerful tools for instant manifestation that exists. First, clearly identify the version of you that you want to experience. Not just what you want to have, but who you want to be. How does that version of you think? How does she feel? How does she move through the world? Be specific and detailed. Second, close your eyes and imagine that you can see that version of you living your ideal life. See her not as something future, but as something that's happening right now in a parallel dimension. Observe how she behaves, how she feels, how she responds to challenges. Third, and here's the crucial part, instead of trying to become that person, simply recognize that you already are that person. That version isn't something you need to create, it's something you need to remember. It's a facet of your multidimensional consciousness that has always existed. Fourth, allow yourself to feel what it would be like to completely inhabit that version of you. Don't just imagine, really feel. Let the energy, confidence, peace, joy of that version flow through you. Allow your vibrational frequency to shift to match that reality. Fifth, when you open your eyes, maintain that frequency. Act from that version of you. Make decisions from that perspective. Respond to life from that state of being. Not as if you were pretending, but recognizing that this is an authentic expression of who you really are. As you practice this technique, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your external reality begins to reorganize itself to match your new internal frequency. Opportunities that are aligned with that version of you start to appear. People who resonate with that energy are attracted into your life. Circumstances that support that identity manifest naturally. Now you can understand why most traditional manifestation techniques fail. They operate from the premise that you are a limited person trying to get things to feel better. They reinforce the separation between you and what you desire. They keep you in the frequency of lack while trying to attract abundance. Quantum manifestation operates from a completely different premise. You already are everything you need to be. You already have access to everything you desire. You simply need to tune into the frequency where this is your natural reality. This isn't positive thinking or creative visualization. This is quantum physics applied to consciousness transformation. It's the recognition that your consciousness isn't limited to your physical body or your current circumstances. Your consciousness is multidimensional, timeless, infinitely creative. When you operate from this understanding, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You're no longer trying to get something. You're simply allowing your true nature to express itself. You're no longer fighting against reality. You're collaborating with it. You're no longer being a victim of circumstances. You're being the conscious creator of your experience. But let me warn you about something. Once you experience quantum manifestation, once you feel the power to change your reality from the inside out, you can never again pretend that you're powerless. You can never again blame external circumstances for your experience. You can never again play victim. This awareness comes with tremendous responsibility. Because when you know that your consciousness is constantly creating your reality, you become responsible for every aspect of your experience. There's no one left to blame, no excuse to hide behind, no reason to remain trapped in limiting patterns. Here's something that will blow your mind. The simple act of consciously observing your reality changes that reality. This isn't metaphysics, this is proven quantum physics. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that subatomic particles behave differently when they are observed versus when they are not observed. Your conscious attention is a creative force. Where you place your attention, energy flows. And where energy flows, reality forms. This means you're constantly creating your experience through what you choose to observe, focus on, and give attention to. Most people use this creative power unconsciously. They focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what worries them. And then they wonder why their lives are full of problems, scarcity, and anxiety. They're literally creating more of what they focus on. Conscious quantum manifestation reverses this process. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, you consistently direct your attention to what you want to experience. Instead of observing problems, you observe possibilities. Instead of giving energy to your fears, you energize your dreams. But here's the subtle part. It's not just about focusing on what you want. It's about focusing on what you want as if it were already your reality. It's about observing your ideal life not as something future, but as something present. It's about giving attention to the evidence that your manifestation is already happening, even if it's not yet completely visible. When you shift your observation this way, you literally change what manifests in your experience. You begin to notice synchronicities that previously went unnoticed. You become aware of opportunities that were always there. You attract people and situations that are aligned with your new frequency of observation. Let me share the real science behind why this works. Your brain contains something called the reticular activating system, RAS. It's a neurological filter that determines which information from your environment reaches your conscious awareness. Your RAS is constantly filtering millions of bits of sensory information, allowing only a small fraction to reach your conscious attention. And it does this filtering based on what you consider important, relevant, or significant. Here's what's fascinating. When you change what you consider important through conscious quantum manifestation, you literally reprogram your RAS to notice different aspects of reality. You begin to see opportunities, resources, and possibilities that were always there, but that your previous filter didn't allow you to perceive. This is partly why manifestation can seem magical. It's not that new things are being created from nothing. It's that you're becoming aware of aspects of reality that always existed, but that you weren't tuned in to perceive. But there's something even deeper happening. Research in neuroplasticity shows that your consistent thoughts and emotional states literally reshape the physical structure of your brain. When you practice quantum manifestation, you're creating new neural pathways that support the perception and creation of the reality you desire. And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies in quantum physics suggest that consciousness can influence reality at the subatomic level. Experiments with quantum random number generators have shown that focused human intention can statistically influence the outcomes of quantum events. If consciousness can influence subatomic particles, and if all physical reality is composed of subatomic particles, then logically consciousness can influence all physical reality. This provides a scientific foundation for what manifestation practitioners have been experiencing for millennia. Quantum manifestation happens in 3 distinct stages, and understanding these stages is crucial for consistent success. The first stage is quantum conception. This is when you form a clear intention and align vibrationally with the reality you want to experience. In this stage, you're essentially impregnating the quantum field with your vision. You're planting a seed of possibility in the fertile soil of infinite consciousness. During quantum conception, it's crucial that you be extremely clear about what you want, but even more importantly, about who you need to be to have it. You're not just setting a goal, you're choosing an identity. You're not just visualizing an outcome, you're embodying a state of being. The second stage is quantum gestation. This is the period between planting the seed and seeing physical results. This is often the most challenging stage because it requires faith, patience, and consistent alignment without immediate physical evidence. During quantum gestation, your only task is to maintain the frequency. It's to continue being the version of you that already has what you desire. It's to resist the temptation to return to old patterns when things seem not to be working. It's to trust the process even when your logical mind is questioning everything. This stage tests your true understanding of quantum manifestation. Anyone can maintain a positive frequency when things are going well. But can you maintain the frequency of abundance when your bank account is empty? Can you maintain the frequency of love when you're feeling lonely? Can you maintain the frequency of health when your body is showing symptoms? The third stage is physical manifestation. This is when your external reality reorganizes itself to match your internal reality. This is when synchronicities accelerate, opportunities appear, and what you are manifesting becomes tangible in your physical experience. But here's something important. Physical manifestation isn't the end of the process. It's the beginning of a new cycle. Because once you manifest something, you prove to yourself that the process works. This increases your faith and confidence, which makes future manifestations easier and faster. Let me address the most common obstacles that prevent people from mastering quantum manifestation, because recognizing these patterns is essential to transcending them. The first obstacle is attachment to how. Many people know what they want, but become obsessed with how it's going to happen. They want to control the process, dictate the methods, specify the pathways. This creates resistance and blocks the natural flow of manifestation. Quantum manifestation requires that you be clear about the what and the who, but completely open about the how. The universe has resources, connections, and possibilities infinitely greater than your conscious mind can imagine. When you try to control the how, you limit the possibilities to only what you can conceive. The second obstacle is vibrational impatience. We live in a culture of instant gratification, and many people apply this mentality to manifestation. They want immediate results, and when they don't see them, they conclude the process doesn't work and give up. Quantum manifestation operates on divine timing, not human timing. Some manifestations happen instantly, others take time to unfold physically. Your task isn't to control the timing, it's to maintain alignment. The more impatient you become, the more you move out of the frequency of your manifestation. The third obstacle is the reality test. When you begin to manifest consciously, the universe often tests you to see if you've really changed, or if you're just temporarily pretending. Situations appear that challenge your new identity and try to pull you back to old patterns. These tests aren't punishments. They're opportunities for you to prove to yourself and to the quantum field that your transformation is real. Each time you respond to a challenge from your new identity instead of the old one, you strengthen your new reality and accelerate your future manifestations. The fourth obstacle is quantum imposter syndrome. As you begin to experience results, a part of you might question whether you really deserve this or if it's too good to be true. This doubt can sabotage your manifestations and pull you back to the old reality. Remember, you're not getting something that isn't yours. You're simply aligning with the reality that was always yours by right. You're not cheating the system, you're learning to use the system the way it was designed to work. The beauty of quantum manifestation is that the same principles apply to all areas of life, but each area has its specific nuances worth understanding. Financial manifestation is often the most challenging because our culture has so many limiting beliefs about money. To manifest financial abundance quantumly, you need to transcend the belief that money is scarce, hard to come by, or morally questionable. The key is developing what I call natural abundance consciousness. It's recognizing that the universe is infinitely abundant. There are more atoms in a drop of water than drops of water in the ocean. Scarcity is an illusion created by limited perception, not a fundamental reality. When you embody true abundance consciousness, you naturally attract financial opportunities. You make decisions from abundance instead of scarcity. you invest in yourself and your dreams. You become a magnet for prosperity because you vibrate at the frequency of prosperity. Relationship manifestation requires that you first become the type of person who naturally attracts healthy relationships. You cannot manifest true love while operating from fear, neediness, or lack. You can only attract the level of love you're capable of giving and receiving. Quantum manifestation of relationships begins with cultivating a loving relationship with yourself. When you truly love yourself, when you value yourself, when you're complete within yourself, you naturally attract people who reflect that energy back to you. Health manifestation is about recognizing that your body is a quantum system that constantly responds to your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Every cell in your body is listening to your internal conversations and responding accordingly. When you change your identity from sick person to healthy person, when you stop identifying with your symptoms and start identifying with your natural vitality, your body begins to reorganize itself to match your new self-perception. Purpose manifestation is about aligning with the most authentic expression of who you are. Your purpose isn't something you need to find out there. It's something you need to remember within yourself. It's the unique contribution that only you can make to the world. When you stop trying to figure out your purpose and start living from your natural gifts, passions, and values, your purpose reveals itself organically. Opportunities appear that allow you to express your uniqueness in ways that serve both you and the world. Here's a crucial distinction that will transform your understanding. There's a difference between manifestation and creation. Most people confuse the two, and this confusion creates a lot of unnecessary frustration. Creation is the process of bringing something completely new into existence. It's what artists do when they create an original work of art. It's what inventors do when they develop revolutionary technology. It's what entrepreneurs do when they build innovative businesses. Creation requires inspiration, vision, specific skills, sustained effort, and often collaboration with others. It's an active process that involves your conscious mind, your developed abilities, and your focused will. Manifestation, on the other hand, is the process of allowing something that already exists in the quantum field to become visible in your physical experience. It's less about doing and more about being. It's less about effort and more about alignment. It's less about creation and more about revelation. When you understand this distinction, you stop trying to create your manifestations through willpower and start allowing them to emerge through vibrational alignment. You stop pushing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start flowing. This doesn't mean that action isn't necessary. Inspired action is often part of the manifestation process. But it's action that comes from alignment, not desperation. It's action that feels natural and inevitable, not forced and struggled. Let's dive deeper into the crucial role that emotions play in quantum manifestation, because this is where many people get confused. Your emotions aren't just reactions to events, they are creative forces that shape events. Every emotion you feel is transmitting a specific frequency to the quantum field, and the quantum field responds by organizing experiences that match that frequency. When you feel gratitude, you're transmitting the frequency of I have. The quantum field responds by bringing more experiences for you to be grateful for. When you feel fear, you're transmitting the frequency of I am in danger. The quantum field responds by creating situations that validate that fear. But here's where it gets subtle. It's not about suppressing negative emotions or forcing positive emotions. It's about developing emotional mastery, the ability to consciously choose your emotional states based on the reality you want to create. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you never feel challenging emotions. It means you don't identify with them or allow them to drive your life. You feel them, honor them, learn from them, and then consciously choose the emotional state that's aligned with your manifestations. For example, if you're manifesting financial abundance but feel anxious about money, you don't ignore the anxiety. You acknowledge it, explore what it's trying to tell you, and then consciously shift to a state of confidence and abundance. This conscious shift isn't about pretending or denying your real feelings. It's about recognizing that you have the capacity to choose your emotional states, and that this choice is one of the most powerful tools for manifestation you possess. As you become more skilled at quantum manifestation, you'll begin to notice a dramatic increase in synchronicities in your life. This isn't coincidence. It's evidence that you're aligning with the natural flow of creation. Synchronicities are the language of the quantum field. They're how the universe communicates with you, guides you, and confirms that you're on the right path. When you're aligned with your manifestations, synchronicities become so common that you start to expect them. You might be thinking about someone and they call you. You might need specific information and it appears in a casual conversation. You might be looking for an opportunity and it presents itself through an unexpected connection. These aren't random coincidences. They're evidence that you're operating in harmony with the organizing intelligence of the universe. They're confirmations that your manifestations are moving from the invisible realms into physical reality. Learning to recognize and follow synchronicities dramatically accelerates your manifestations. Instead of trying to force outcomes through effort, you allow the universe to orchestrate the details while you maintain alignment with the desired result. What synchronicities have you noticed recently that might be related to your manifestations? Share in the comments. Often, the simple act of recognizing synchronicities amplifies them. Gratitude is often mentioned in manifestation circles, but most people don't understand its true quantum power. Gratitude isn't just a pleasant feeling. It's one of the most powerful frequencies for manifestation that exists. When you feel genuine gratitude, you're essentially telling the universe, yes, more of this, please. You're transmitting the frequency of satisfaction, abundance, and receiving. You're signaling that you're someone who recognizes and appreciates blessings, which naturally attracts more blessings. But there's a difference between ordinary gratitude and quantum gratitude. Ordinary gratitude is being grateful for what you already have. Quantum gratitude is being grateful for what you're manifesting as if it were already your reality. When you practice quantum gratitude, you feel genuine appreciation for your manifestations before they appear physically. You give thanks for the abundance that's coming, for the relationship that's forming, for the health that's manifesting. This isn't self-deception or wishful thinking. It's recognition that at the quantum level, your manifestations already exist. You're simply giving thanks for a reality that's already true in a more subtle dimension. This anticipatory gratitude creates a powerful force of attraction. It aligns you vibrationally with your manifestations and accelerates their appearance in physical reality. It also cultivates a state of receptivity that allows you to recognize and receive your manifestations when they appear. One of the biggest misunderstandings about manifestation is that it's purely passive, that you simply visualize and wait for things to magically appear. While vibrational alignment is crucial, quantum manifestation often requires what we call inspired action. Inspired action is different from forced action. Forced action comes from fear, desperation, or the belief that you have to make everything happen through pure effort. Inspired action comes from alignment, intuition, and the natural flow of manifestation. When you're aligned with your manifestations, you naturally feel inspired to take certain actions. These actions feel exciting, natural, and inevitable. They don't require willpower to execute. They flow organically from your aligned state of being. For example, if you're manifesting a new business, forced action would be working 16 hours a day trying to make everything happen through brute effort. Inspired action would be following your intuitions about which steps to take, which people to contact, which opportunities to pursue. Inspired action often leads to surprising and synchronistic results. You might send an email to someone and discover they were just thinking about contacting you. You might attend an event and meet exactly the person who can help with your manifestation. The key is learning to distinguish between genuine inspiration and fear-based impulses. Genuine inspiration feels expansive, exciting, and aligned. Fear-based impulses feel contracted, urgent, and desperate. One of the most limiting beliefs about manifestation is that it takes time, that you have to wait weeks, months, or years to see results. While some manifestations do unfold over time, others can happen instantly when you understand how to transcend temporal limitations. In the quantum realm, time is an illusion. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. This means your manifestations aren't coming from some distant future. They already exist now at a different frequency. Instant manifestation happens when you can completely align with the frequency of your manifestation in the present moment. It's when you stop projecting your manifestation into the future and bring it into the now through total vibrational alignment. This requires a deep level of presence and alignment. You have to be able to feel your manifestation as a current reality, not as a future possibility. You have to embody the identity of someone who already has what you desire, not someone who is trying to get it. Instant manifestation also requires complete release of attachment to the outcome. Paradoxically, the more you need something, the more you push it into the future. The more you can be at peace without it, the more quickly it can appear. This doesn't mean you don't care about your manifestations. It means you want them from a place of abundance and joy, not lack and desperation. You desire them as expressions of your creativity and growth, not as solutions to your problems or insecurities. Visualization is a powerful tool for manifestation, but most people use it in a limited way. They create mental images of what they want and hope that's enough. Quantum visualization goes far beyond simply creating mental images. In quantum visualization, you're not just seeing your manifestation, you're experiencing it with all your senses. You're feeling the emotions of having it. You're embodying the identity of someone who lives that reality. You're creating a multisensory experience so vivid that your subconscious can't distinguish between the visualization and reality. When you visualize this way, you're literally rehearsing your new reality. You're creating neural pathways that support that reality. You're programming your nervous system to recognize and respond to that reality when it appears. But here's the secret. The most powerful visualization isn't about seeing perfect images. It's about capturing the essence, the feeling, the energetic quality of your manifestation. It's about connecting with the vibrational frequency of the reality you want to experience. Some people are naturally visual and can create detailed mental images. Others are more kinesthetic and connect better through feelings and sensations. Still others are auditory and respond better to sounds and words. The key is to use your dominant sensory modality to create the most vivid experience possible. One of the most profound aspects of quantum manifestation is its potential for healing, not just physical healing, but emotional, mental, and spiritual healing. When you understand that your reality is created by your consciousness, you realize you have much more power over your health and well-being than you were taught to believe. Your body is a quantum system that is constantly responding to your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Every cell in your body has receptors that respond to the neurotransmitters produced by your emotional states. This means your feelings literally become your biology. When you change your identity from sick person to healthy person, when you stop identifying with your symptoms and start identifying with your natural vitality, you create the conditions for spontaneous healing. This doesn't mean ignoring physical symptoms or avoiding appropriate medical care. It means recognizing that you are more than your physical body. and that your consciousness has the power to influence your physical experience in profound ways. Quantum healing happens when you access a version of you that never had the condition you're experiencing. Somewhere in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, there exists a version of you that is perfectly healthy. Through quantum manifestation techniques, you can align with that version and allow that reality to manifest. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. Look around you. There are more stars in the sky than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. There are more atoms in an apple than apples that have ever existed. The universe is infinitely abundant at all levels. Scarcity is an illusion created by limited perception and social programming. We've been conditioned to believe that resources are limited, that we have to compete for our slice of the pie, that there isn't enough for everyone. These beliefs create the experience of scarcity, not because it's real, but because our beliefs shape our reality. To manifest true abundance, you need to transcend scarcity consciousness and align with the natural abundance of the universe. This means recognizing that you live in a universe of infinite possibilities, where there's always more where that came from, where your prosperity doesn't diminish others' prosperity. Abundance consciousness isn't about having more things. It's about recognizing that you are already abundant in your essence. It's about operating from the premise that there's always enough and always more possibilities, always new opportunities unfolding. When you embody true abundance consciousness, you naturally make different decisions. You invest in yourself and your dreams. You're generous with others because you know that giving doesn't diminish what you have. You pursue opportunities from confidence instead of fear. And as you consistently operate from this consciousness, your external reality reorganizes itself to reflect your internal reality. Financial opportunities appear. Resources materialize. People who can support your goals enter your life. Not because you forced these things to happen, but because you became a vibrational magnet for abundance. Relationships are one of the most powerful laboratories for quantum manifestation, because they reflect back to you aspects of your own consciousness that you might not be seeing clearly. When you want to manifest a loving relationship, the first question isn't, "Where is my special person?" The first question is, what kind of person do I need to become to attract and sustain the love I desire? If you want a partner who is confident, you need to cultivate confidence in yourself. If you want someone who is emotionally available, you need to become emotionally available. If you want a relationship based on mutual growth, you need to be committed to your own growth. This isn't about becoming perfect before you deserve love. It's about recognizing that you attract what you are, not what you want. It's about understanding that healthy relationships are created by healthy people who choose to grow together. Quantum manifestation of relationships also involves releasing relationships that are no longer aligned with who you're becoming. This can be challenging, but it's necessary to create space for connections that support your evolution. As you evolve consciously, you naturally attract people who are at similar frequencies. You become a magnet for relationships that are mutually uplifting, inspiring, and transformational. One of the greatest resistances to quantum manifestation is the fear of one's own power. Many people, subconsciously, are afraid to discover that they can actually create their reality, because it means taking total responsibility for their lives. It's easier to blame external circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their experiences than to recognize that you are the conscious or unconscious creator of everything that happens in your life. But this responsibility, while it may seem frightening, is actually tremendously liberating. When you accept that you are the creator of your reality, you also accept that you have the power to change it. You're no longer at the mercy of external forces. You're no longer waiting for someone or something to change so your life can improve. You become the active agent of your own transformation. This power comes with responsibility. You can no longer play victim. You can no longer blame others for your problems. You can no longer wait for the world to change to accommodate your limitations. You have to grow, evolve, and become the person who can create the life you desire. But here's what's beautiful about accepting this power. You discover that you're far more capable than you ever imagined. You discover internal resources you didn't know you had. You develop confidence that comes from knowing you can navigate any challenge because you have the tools to create solutions. As you become more skilled at quantum manifestation, you might begin to question the ethics of using these powers. Is it right to manifest things for yourself? Is this selfish? How do you balance personal growth with service to others? Here's a transformative perspective. Conscious manifestation, when done correctly, is always an act of service. When you manifest abundance, you become capable of contributing more to the world. When you manifest health, you have more energy to serve. When you manifest loving relationships, you radiate more love to everyone around you. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot lift others if you yourself are struggling. You cannot be a positive force in the world if you're operating from scarcity, fear, or limitation. When you use quantum manifestation to create an abundant, healthy, and joyful life, you become a living example of what's possible. You inspire others through your own transformation. You contribute to the elevation of collective consciousness simply by being the best version of yourself. Furthermore, as you evolve, you naturally feel called to use your gifts and resources to make a positive difference in the world. Personal manifestation becomes a platform for global impact. True mastery in quantum manifestation doesn't happen during special visualization or meditation sessions. It happens in the integration of these principles into every aspect of your daily life. Every interaction you have, every decision you make, every thought you think is an opportunity to practice conscious manifestation. You're constantly choosing which version of yourself to express, which frequency to transmit, which reality to create. When you wake up in the morning, you can choose to start the day from gratitude and possibility, or from stress and limitation. When you face a challenge, you can choose to respond from fear or from confidence. When you interact with others, you can choose to radiate love or project judgment. Each of these choices is shaping your reality. Every moment is an opportunity to align with the highest version of yourself and with the life you want to create. Integration also means recognizing that manifestation isn't about getting things. It's about becoming someone. It's about consciousness evolution. It's about expressing your highest potential. The things you manifest are simply external reflections of who you've become internally. We're living in an extraordinary time in human history. More people than ever are awakening to their creative power. Science is validating what mystics have always known. The separation between spirituality and science is dissolving. As more people master quantum manifestation, as more individuals take responsibility for their realities, as more human beings recognize their creative power, we're collectively creating a new reality for our species. Imagine a world where most people understand that they are creators of their experiences. Imagine a society where people operate from abundance instead of scarcity, from love instead of fear, from collaboration instead of competition. This world isn't a utopian fantasy. It's a quantum possibility that's becoming more probable with each person who awakens to their creative power. You, by mastering quantum manifestation, are contributing to this global transformation. You're not just changing your own life. You're helping to change the world. Every time you choose love over fear, abundance over scarcity, possibility over limitation, you're voting for a more beautiful future for all humanity. As we come to the end of this deep exploration of quantum manifestation, I want you to pause for a moment and feel what has changed within you during this journey. What insights have emerged? What possibilities have opened? What version of you is calling to be expressed? Because what you've discovered here isn't just information, it's transformation. It's not just knowledge, it's power. It's not just theory, it's a practical technology for reshaping your reality from the inside out. But knowledge without application is just intellectual entertainment. Insight without action is just interesting philosophy. The true power of quantum manifestation only reveals itself when you begin to live it, breathe it, embody it in every moment of your existence. Your next step isn't to learn more, it's to apply what you already know. It's not to seek more techniques, it's to master the principles you've just discovered. It's not to wait for perfect conditions, it's to start exactly where you are, with what you have, being who you are now. Choose one area of your life where you want to experience transformation. It could be financial abundance, loving relationships, vibrant health, clear purpose, anything that resonates with your heart. Now apply the principles you've learned. Clearly identify not just what you want, but who you need to become to have it. Begin to embody that identity now, regardless of your current circumstances. Tune into the frequency of that reality through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Practice quantum gratitude. Be grateful for your manifestation as if it were already your reality. Take inspired action when you feel guided. Maintain your frequency even when external evidence doesn't yet reflect your new reality. And remember, you're not trying to get something that isn't yours. You're simply aligning with the reality that was always yours by right. You're not forcing the universe to give you something. You're allowing the universe to express through you the abundance that is your essential nature.